In the last class, we discussed about amplification of desired gene, right? We have many number of copies, billion number of desired gene copies. The next step is insertion of desired gene into vector. Desired gene into vector. So, insertion of desired gene into vector, we are already well known. We know that one of the plasmid is there. Within that plasmid, we are cutted by the usage of restriction endonuclease enzymes. Unwanted DNA fragment we eliminated out, right? By the usage of restriction endonuclease enzyme, we deleted that unwanted part of the plasmid, and this is the remaining, wanted part or important part for the replication process, for the gene expression process, right? This plasmid part tagged with one of the desired gene. This is the desired gene. We already synthesized, right? This is the desired gene. We already synthesized by the usage of PCR, right? Sir, how the attachment takes place? That attachment is done by DNA ligase enzyme, right? We know that DNA ligase enzyme, and we know in absence of DNA ligase enzyme, there is an alkaline phosphatase enzyme. DNA ligase enzyme or alkaline phosphatase enzyme. These enzymes, only one, either DNA ligase enzyme or alkaline phosphatase enzyme we are using. If we use that enzyme, see in that case, this is one of the plasmid part, right? And this is the desired gene part. So in this way, the desired gene is added. So this is the step completely related to the insertion of desired gene into vector. That is nothing but ligation of desired gene. Right? So that is about the next step, right? Now, after this step, the very next step is recombinant vector. This one is called as recombinant vector. Right? Recombinant vector inserted into host cell. Remember, here two methods are there. One is vector mediated gene transfer. Other one is without vector, non-vector uses. Non-vector use is nothing but without any use of vector, we are transferring the gene. One case we are using vectors. Other case we are not using vectors. I will discuss how the process takes place, right? So this is about the last step, and coming to this step, right? This is the next. In the last one, we discussed about the ligation of desired gene with vector, right? Students, if we remember steps in biotechnology process, the very first step is isolation of DNA from target cells. Next one is isolation of desired gene. Suppose here our target is production of insulin. So from human cells, we isolated the insulin gene. After that isolation process, we need to restrict the insulin gene, right? Then we need to identify the insulin gene. So the step is carried out by the identification step, carried out by the agarose-Zell electrophoresis process. After that identification process, desired gene amplification. The next step is the desired gene amplification process. After the amplification process, just now we discussed, the desired genes are ligated with the plasmid DNA or the vectors. Desired genes are ligated with the plasmid DNA or the vectors, right? So coming to the next step in biotechnology process or ordinary technology process, recombinant vector inserted into host cell. So we can write recombinant vectors inserted into host cells. We can write, okay, anyway. So here, in this process, two methods are there. Indirect gene transfer method, direct gene transfer method. All of you remember, desired gene transferred into host cells majorly by two methods. One of the method depends on vector. One of the method depends on vector. Okay, other method not depends on vector. Other method not depends on vector. So our desired gene transferred through the vectors. So that method is called as indirect gene transfer. That method is called as indirect gene transfer. So within this case, our desired genes transferred through the vector. So this one is vector mediated method. Right? And direct gene transfer method. Remember, in this case, we are not using vectors. We are directly transferring the desired genes. So this method is called as vectorless gene transfer. All of you remember, one of the gene transfer method depends on vectors. So through the vectors, gene transfer takes place. Other method not depends on vector. So this is vectorless gene transfer. Gene transfer. See, coming to the first case, in the indirect gene transfer method, there is a different viruses are there and plasmids also there, right? So here, lambda phase DNA, lambda phases, bacteriophages. For suppose this is the one of the bacteriophage, right? We know about the structure of the bacteriophage, right? We are isolated the bacteriophage DNA. This is the bacteriophage DNA. So we isolated the bacteriophage DNA. This is the bacteriophage DNA. We cut it at particular site. We deleted unwanted part of the viral genetic material. In that place, we are inserted our desired gene. Then this one is reinserted into the vector. This total genetic material content reinserted into the virus. Okay, this one is considered as vector here. Whatever that virus genetic material is there, virus genetic material is called as virus genetic material is called as here vector. Viral genetic material is called as vector. So we deleted some of the viral genes. In that place, we inserted our desired gene. Right? So this is the one of the reinserted genetic material of the virus. In that our desired gene is present. So this is one of the vector mediated method. In that same manner, lambda phase and bacteriophages also involved in the gene transfer. And coming to the next one, Ti plasmid. Ti plasmid indicates tumor-inducing plasmid. We know one of the Agrobacterium tumefaciens is one of the bacteria. The bacteria contains Ti plasmid. The Ti plasmid, unwanted gene parts are deleted. In that place, our desired genes are added. So our desired genes are added, right? See, again, this one is reinserted into the Agrobacterium tumefaciens bacteria. Then Agrobacterium tumefaciens bacteria especially infects the dicot plants, especially at the stem region. Agrobacterium tumefaciens bacteria infects the dicot plants and especially at the stem region. So if the bacteria, okay, this one is the bacteria, if the bacteria infects the stem parts, our desired gene is transferred. Our desired gene is transferred, right? So that is about the TI plasmids. In the last class we discussed about the retroviruses. This is one of the retrovirus gene, right? See, there is a GAG gene is there, right? There is a POL gene is there. There is an ENV gene is there. So here we are doing disarming the viral genetic material. We are disarming is nothing but whatever the pathogenic genes are there, the pathogenic genes we are deleted. Okay, we deleted the pathogenic genes, and in that place our desired genes are added. In that place our desired genes are added. So this is nothing but disarming of pathogen. Disarming of pathogen. So by this method we are okay inserting the desired genes. We are inserting the desired genes into host cell. So what I am telling, this is completely indirect method. Okay, we are not directly inserted our desired genes into host cell. Okay, between the host cell and the desired genetic material, there is an okay mediator is there. The mediator is here vector. So that's the reason why this one is called as indirect gene transfer. Between the desired gene and the host cell, there is a mediator is there. Okay, we are inserting the genes into vector. Then the vector transfers the genes. That's the reason why this method is called as indirect gene transfer. That method is called as indirect gene transfer. So here lambda phase, bacteriophage, TA plasmid and retroviruses are there, right? So that is about that basic concept, completely related to the indirect gene transfer. Next one we discuss about the direct gene transfer method. Direct gene transfer method. Okay? Yeah. Coming to the next one is direct gene transfer method. This is the method we are using. In this method, we are transferring the desired genes directly into the host cells. Right? In this method, different types of methods are there. Indirect gene transfer method, again several types of methods are there. We'll discuss. First of all, I mentioned here three. First one is the heat shock method. This one is also called calcium chloride method or calcium precipitation method. Calcium precipitation method. And next one is micro injection method. Micro injection method. Next one is gene gun method. This one is also called particle gun. This one is also called biolistic method. Biolistic method. See, these are the, okay, not only these, okay, two more methods also there. First of all, we'll discuss these three, right? Heat shock method. Sir, what is heat shock method? The name indicates heat shock. Heat shock. So, we are giving shock to the cell by the heat. We are giving shock to the cell by the heat. So, when we give the shock, that time the DNA molecules transportation takes place. I will explain very clearly. This is one of the test tube. The test tube contains the calcium chloride solution. So calcium and chloride molecules. These are the calcium and the chloride molecules. If we added DNA fragments, so the DNA fragments are binded with the calcium and chloride molecules. Calcium and the chloride molecules. So these are the DNA, okay, desired DNA fragments. These are the desired DNA fragments. The desired DNA fragments are precipitated with calcium and the chloride molecules. Calcium and the chloride molecules. After that, we added the host cells. Okay, here host cells are nothing but bacteria cells. Here host cells are nothing but the bacteria cells. We are added host cells. See, initially we kept at the test tube kept at 0 degrees centigrade. The temperature is 0 degrees centigrade. Right? Later, see, we maintain the 42 degrees centigrade. So, few minutes at 0 degrees centigrade. Here, 1 to 2 minutes at 42 degrees centigrade. Immediately 0 degrees centigrade. Again immediately 0 degrees centigrade. See, constantly, for suppose 0 degrees centigrade, 0 degrees centigrade, few minutes, okay, 42 degrees centigrade, again 1 to 2 minutes, again 0 degrees centigrade, again 42 degrees centigrade. So continuously you're changing the temperature. You're changing the temperature. So if we did like this, okay, so if we did like this, whatever that DNA fragments are there, this is one of the host cell bacteria, this is the host cell bacteria, this is the host cell bacteria, whatever that okay, desired DNA fragments are there, the desired DNA fragments are entered, the desired DNA fragments are entered into host cells, the desired DNA fragments are entered into the host cells. Sir, why we are changing temperature and why we are added calcium chloride? Why we are changing the temperature? Why we are why we are changing the temperature? Why we are added the calcium chloride? Sir, why this method is called as heat shock method? The very general phenomenon is this is one of the plasma membrane. The plasma membrane having hydrophobic nature. Hydrophobic nature, right? See, these are the DNA molecules. These are the DNA molecules which are having negative charge. Which are having negative charge. For the neutralization of DNA, this is the DNA, right? This is the plasma membrane, right? For the neutralization purpose, we added calcium chloride molecules. So here the negative charge is covered with the negative charge of the DNA covered with the calcium chloride molecules. So that is one of the neutralized molecule. Sir, why we made DNA into neutralized? See, we know neutralized particles are very easily crosses the plasma membrane. Presence of negative charge, presence of positive charge. Okay, the molecules are not easily crosses the plasma membrane. So when we make up with calcium chloride molecules, the DNA getting the neutral charge, then the neutral charge DNA easily crosses the plasma membrane. Presence of these calcium chloride molecules. So then why we are changing the temperature? First reason I said, for the coating, for the precipitation, calcium chloride, right? Changes the charge. Next point here, heat shock. See, if the cells are exposed to the different temperatures, immediately the plasma membrane get the shock. Okay, during shock state, the plasma membrane unable to maintain the selective permeability. During the shock state, the plasma membrane unable to maintain the selective permeability, because during the shock state, more permeability exhibited by the permeability of the plasma membrane is increased. So if the plasma membrane in shock condition, permeability is more, then the DNA molecules are easily crosses the plasma membrane. So this is the one of the host cell. The host cell contains the desired DNA molecules. So this method is called as heat shock method. Remember, we are applying shock to the cell membrane. By the increase and decrease of the temperature. We are giving shock to the plasma membrane. If the plasma membrane shock, that time the DNA molecules are easily entered into the cell. So this method is called as heat shock method. Remember, in all these methods, we are not using vector. Directly we are inserting our desired genes. Once these are entered into the host cell, which are expressed. In certain cases, which are also tagged with the eukaryotic cell genetic material. or the prokaryotic cell genetic material. That is nothing but host cell genetic material. In certain cases, the desired DNA tagged with the host cell genetic material also. So this is the very first method. The method is called as heat shock method. Remember, 0 degree centigrade, 1 to 2 minutes, 42 degrees centigrade, again 0 degrees centigrade. We are altering the temperatures, different temperatures. Then the plasma membrane gets shocked. Then the DNA molecules are entered into inside the host cell. Right? That is the first case. I thought everyone understood very clearly. Coming to the next one is the micro injection method. This is the very useful method for animal cells. By the micro injection method, we are inserting desired genes into animal cells. We are inserting desired genes into animal cells. All of you remember the basic concept is one method is particular for one type of cells. For suppose this method is very particular with the animal cells. This method is very particular with the prokaryotic cells, mostly prokaryotic cells. This method is very particular with the plant cells. This method is very particular with the plant cells. Okay, see micro injection method. In this method, see this is the one of the cell, animal cell. Remember, this is one of the animal cell, right? This is the nucleus of animal cell. This is the nucleus of animal cell, right? This is the genetic material of the animal cell. Then there is a very minute syringe structures are there. Very minute syringe structures are there. This is one of the syringe-like structure. Very minute and very narrow needle structure is there. Very narrow needle structure is there. Right. So this is about one of the pressure generating structure. This is one of the pressure generating structure. Here desired DNA fragment is present. Here desired DNA fragments are present, right? So micro injection method, there is a minute or very narrow needle contain injection like or syringe like structure is there. Within that syringe structure our desired DNA fragments are there. So this is the one of the animal cell. The best example is the, okay, imagine ova. The cell is the ova. Okay, after 20. So here within human body, okay, especially in the woman body, for the ova production, 14 to 28 days required for the production of one ova. Or suppose from one mother we collected ova. Mother have some of the genetical disorders. Mother expecting, okay, the disorder characters are not expressed in, okay, in the next generation. For that purpose, okay, mother consult RNA technology process. In that case, see, these are the desired genes. These are the desired genes which are inserted into the ova. Then these genes majorly involved in the replacement of defected genes. These genes are majorly involved in the replacement of the defected genes. So micro injection method, okay, very useful for the animal cells. So by the micro injection method, we are inserting desired genes into animal cells. For suppose this is not the ova. In this case, this is one of the animal cell. This is one of the animal cell, right? We want to produce target protein. The target protein only expressed in animal cells, right? So in that case, within that animal cell, the desired genes are inserted. So many number of cells are produced. Finally, our desired protein is produced. See, I like to ask the one question here: cultivation of prokaryotic cells and cultivation of eukaryotic cells. Which one is difficult and which one is easy? See, cultivation of prokaryotic cells is very easy compared with the cultivation of eukaryotic cells. We know, for suppose human cell division process, for the completion of human cell division Yeah, completion of human cell division process, 24 hours are required. For the bacterial cell, for the cell division completion requires hardly here 20 minutes, right? So what I'm telling, within the short time, more number of generations are produced by the bacterial cells. So for human cell cultivation or eukaryotic cell cultivation, more time is required. We know the reason is complexity is more in eukaryotic cells, complexity is less in prokaryotic cells. So the raw material is also very cheap. For the cultivation process, we need to supply the nutrients. So for the cultivation of eukaryotic cells, okay, the process is expensive process. The process is expensive process. So what I am telling here, for the cultivation of eukaryotic cells, okay, more nutrients are required, and all these nutrients are very expensive. For suppose cultivation of prokaryotic cells, okay, NaCl is required, beef extract is required, right? So very minimum and very limited nutrients are required. Presence of that nutrients, very easily the cell division process is completed. So here concept is cultivation of prokaryotic cells is very easy than cultivation of eukaryotic cells. So here, yeah, here concept is here that microinjection animal cells, okay, we are inserting the desired genes. That is about the microinjection method. Coming to the next one.